Hello YouTube, Camodo Gaming here, bringing you guys another episode of Scrap Mechanic Underwater Base. Today we're going to be showing off the brand new military sub. This is something you guys had been requesting, and it's really not a secret that I've been doing it. I've actually spammed it on the Discord and my Twitter. So, yeah, we've completely redone the sub. At first I was just going to take the sub that's to the right and just stick some military items on it. But I thought, well, this isn't going to work. We need to completely build a new one from scratch. So that's what we're going to show off here today. I've got another thing I'm going to show off too. We have an awesome U-boat that we're going to use for the base too. But remember folks, if you are enjoying Scrap Mechanic, maybe leave this video a thumbs up, helps out my channel, and let's jump right into this creation. Alright, we are on the surface of the underwater base. Now this episode, there's not really much actually done to the base. This is like the last sub episode. This sub took a long time to do. I'm talking, I think I have probably 10 plus hours sunk into this sub. That, I didn't mean to make a pun there, I'm sorry. But yeah, I have about 10 hours in this sub, and this was something that I wanted to put a lot of effort into and make it as, I don't want to say accurate, but to make it as military as possible. It's morely based on a futuristic sub, kind of like this one over here to the right, but it's completely different on the inside. It's much bigger. I tried to stick these side by side to give you guys an idea as to how much bigger this sub is. We're going to walk here to the side, and yeah, you can see the fronts of the subs are actually pretty well even, but this one pokes out a whole lot more. So we're going to be checking this thing out here today. Now, if you missed yesterday's episode, we actually did a viewer creations underwater episode. I'm going to link that in the description because there's a couple things that I really think we're going to use for this base. One including an AI shark, which is, he's down here somewhere. He's floating around. We might run into him when we take the sub out. But yeah, this is still a temporary setup for the subs. I do want to have a permanent bay. What I think I'm going to do, we're probably going to split it up. The train that we did a couple episodes ago leads out to tracks that are really pretty much on the other side of the map. And I think we're going to make like a military wing over there, and we'll probably move this big sub over to that side. But let's go ahead and check out the inside. We can probably just climb into this thing. This might be a bit of a jump. As you can see, this dock is not made for the new sub. So let's hop over here. Oh boy. Yeah, you're going to get some frame rate problems here on the inside. And it's really just because I have the other sub spawn. Maybe we'll despawn that one. The game doesn't particularly like both of these subs at the same area. But once you get it away, it's actually not that bad. We're going to tiptoe along the top here. So yeah, we've got two ways into this one. Now the other sub over there had like a big door in the front. A lot of people actually didn't like that door that much. So we're going to just stick to the traditional hatches. We've got one hatch here, and there's actually one hatch up here, which I think this is called the cell up here. At least that's what Moonbo told me. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, there's a hatch on top of it. But yeah, we're going to move this sub real quick to the bottom of the ocean. That way we get a little bit less lag and we can check the inside of this sub out. Alright, so obviously this isn't a normal situation. We are currently underwater. There's where the other sub is. We are on this side of the underwater base. But yeah, this is the underwater sub. It's titled the CG2. This is representing the second sub that we built, and Camodo Gaming. Now, I kind of want an awesome name for this. Like, I've got a couple in mind, but that's, we'll call that a temporary name at the moment. But yeah, check this thing out. Check the spider web out, actually. This is probably my new favorite flying creation or hover creation that I've ever done, and this took a long time to get up in the air. I really underestimated how heavy this thing truly was. There's several layers in here. There's several decks up towards the top. So there's a lot going on. Now, as far as the shape, it is not your traditional sub. It actually kind of looks like a boat in the front, kind of like a battleship. And then it gets wide, and it actually has these, I don't want to call them wings, but it has these like buoy, we'll call them buoy wings. It's got those out to the side. So yeah, it's got guns on it. It's got a torpedo bay on it. These guns actually fire using the little derf. I shouldn't say they actually fire. They use the little derf tips here that actually light up like they're firing, and it's got a kind of a percussion drum set up to it to make it sound like it's actually going. So you've got that. This is like the little torpedo launcher. Now, I haven't found out, or I haven't figured out a logical way to launch torpedoes without a ton of lag and having that loose torpedo on the ship. I tried it at first and it was pretty bad, but we might try to figure that out soon. This thing has 4 engines on the back, and its like rudders are on the side here. But overall, I'm really happy with the way this thing came out on the outside. I'm even more happy with the inside. Now, I failed to mention there is a third entrance to this ship. When you're up on the dock, if you need to put supplies in there, say you need to reload the torpedoes, or maybe you just need some food and all that, we can use a ramp here. So we're going to click this button. Yes, there's the ramp right here, and we can go up. So let's go and hit this. Everything's sealed up in here. Now, I do get a little bit of frame rate dip while I'm walking around in this thing, but once we get in the cockpit and start flying around, that all goes away. So yeah, this is one of the main entrance, or we'll call this the entrance ramp. You see the thrusters here on the side. Those are for the AD converter, and that's how we turn the ship. Very similar to the last one. So yeah, let's go and turn on some lights in here. And this is our first airlock. Now this is a hatch. This is one of 2 hatches. This one's here on the top. You can use that one to climb down. There's seat blocks actually along it. Scrubmaster set those up. And before I forget, I do want to mention Mr. Scrubmaster. He did help me with some of the interior here on the ship, and actually some of the exterior too. So yeah, let's use this first airlock here, and we need to light this bad boy up. So let's close that. There we go. The lights are not illuminating as much. We might have too many lights on right now in the base, but normally this has a little bit of a red glow like the last sub, but I think it's because we're at our light limit. I need to go turn off some of the base lights, but yeah, we've got several rooms here. Some of the rooms are a bit similar to the last sub. You've got your basic rooms, like this would be a kitchen area. It's got a little light here on the side, and a bathroom. I actually moved this to the side. In the last sub, the bathroom was in the aisle, but we don't really need to worry about that too much. Over here, this is going to be the living quarters. There's 4 beds set up. I'm pretty sure we'll have a bigger crew than 4, but we'll swap them out. Now up here, this is a little bit different area. Actually, this one's the same. This is a medic bay. We had one of these in the last sub too. Just your basic medical supplies and the cabinets here. You had a couple monitors here. You've got like a little bed if you need to, if you're sick or injured, you can lay over here. So you've got that. Over here, this is the supply room, and oh, look at that. These are my torpedoes. We've got a couple of them sitting in here. We've got your basic supplies, whatever you would need for inside this sub. And back here, we're going to wander back over in each of these sides. Now, these sides are each the same. This is the torpedo launchers. Now, these are all completely cosmetic. They don't actually function. It's just something that maybe in the future we can make it work, but in Scrap Mechanic's current state, it does not like having loose torpedoes. So, here's one of the rooms here. We've got bays 1 and 2. They're right here and here. So you would unscrew the cap. I try to look at some pictures of the torpedo bays in subs. It's kind of hard to find really good pictures of them because it's just really confusing looking. But yeah, you would have a crew here. They would load in the torpedoes. They'll slide them in, lock down the bays. You got your little radio that goes up to the control, and they'll let you know when we need to launch these. Now, I don't know if the control is going to launch them or down there. They might launch them down here. So you've got your bays here, and of course these are just dead switches. This is the exact same thing on this side. You've got the 2 bays here. You've got some torpedoes ready to go. Of course, you can turn on the light. It bothers me a bit that it's not illuminating at the moment because it does look pretty neat inside the sub when it's got that red tint. But, like I said, we've got a lot of lights. Back here, actually, are we at the front? We're at the front or the back? Let's see. This is the engine room. Okay, we are at the back of the sub. So yeah, we've got the engine room here. This is where you've got actually 4 engines now. These look pretty cool. These are kind of similar to the last engines in the other sub, but these are a bit different, and I've stacked them up and just kind of give it a little bit more meaner look. Obviously, this sub might need to be a little bit faster than the last one. Now, this is the really the gyro cover here. You can see the gyro here in the back, and there's some thrusters behind this too. So you've got this cover here. Kind of makes it look almost like a boiler or something, but I'm pretty sure something modern wouldn't have that in here. Maybe it's like a nuclear-powered sub. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't figured out the logistics of the sub itself, but yeah, you've got that. The AD converter, if you don't know what that is, this is the way the ship turns. This bearing is hooked into the cockpit, which is up in the tower, and as soon as you turn with A or D, it'll cover one of the other sensor, and that'll activate these back sensors and the front sensors, and it'll make it turn. So There's the engine room. You guys suggested that on all engine rooms we need to have like a little lockdown area just in case we start to flood. We can lock that down. So we've got 2 of those at the moment. But anyways, that's pretty much it for the first deck here. The second deck, this is going up into the tower. This is more like a control room for all the people that are working on the sub. You could have your comms up here. I made like a little, I think this looks okay. This is like a sonar radar, so you would get that blipping and it would detect like our subs over here. You could have enemy subs appearing over here, kind of like a battleship grid. But yeah, you've got that over here. This button's lights. This is the other hatch. This leads out to the top of the tower, so you can take that out if you want. There's once again seat blocks at the top of it. And we're going to go up here. Here's the third deck. This is actually where we're going to control the sub from. Now, I didn't do the windows this time. The windows look kind of silly on the other sub, and I realized there's no way we're going to actually fly this thing around in first person. So this is the cockpit here. This is more control areas for more crew members. This could be monitoring things. This could be your comms over here. Just a bunch of dead buttons for you and your friends to really play around with and possibly roleplay. I get a lot of questions about role-playing and Scrap Mechanic, so that's kind of what you can be doing back there. So yeah, here is the cockpit. Now, the controls are pretty obvious. I actually mapped these buttons out so they make sense. So you got your right button, your left button, those are rolls. Up and down, that's to pitch the nose up or pitch the back end up. This is the thrusters on the bottom. I believe this one might be the opening or the ramp hatch. And everything else is done off of WASD. So yeah, you can see everything is pretty much linked up here. So yeah, we're ready to set sail. Now, this sub is a bit different than the other sub that we had. The other sub, I set sensors down on the bottom to try to keep it level on the seafloor, but I just don't like that. I like to manually control how high we are. So I'm going to do this all with the 1 key. Now, let's see if we can move out our field of view real quick to try to get a better view of the whole ship. This might look a little bit odd. Hopefully it doesn't. There we go. That's a bit better. You can kind of see what's kind of going on here. It's also annoying about Scrap Mechanic. I would love for there to be some sort of camera block like brick rigs. That way we can set some cameras up and try to get a better view, but we're going to do it from this. Anyways, the 1 key is going to be your hover keys, so there we go. We're going up. The W key is forward, AD is to turn. Now the turning is a little slow. Your turning could be about like this, and you can, maybe I should do actually the follow cam. Let's try, no, free cam. This is a bit annoying regardless, so let's surface here. I'm gonna try to keep half of this out of the water because it just looks cool. There we go. See, I would like to have a constant flow up here and then maybe a secondary sensor to pick up when we want to dive. But yeah, it does turn off WASD. Let's go ahead and touch the seafloor here. Now, to make it turn better, and it's kind of like an aircraft, you can roll this thing. So the 2 and 3 keys are your roll. So say if we want to roll to the right, we'll kind of hit that in a combination with the turning, and it'll roll the ship. I'm trying to get a better view of it here. Or I keep saying ship, it's a sub. It's a sub Camodo. So yeah, you can roll the sub left and right, or we can kind of shift it over here to the left. Say we want to turn to the left. There we go. It eases over. It's a big creation, so it doesn't turn like super fast. I probably could make it turn faster, but to me that wouldn't be very realistic for a big sub like this. Your 4 and 5 key, you've got your pitch up and you've got your pitch down. The pitch up works really good because the front end is really light compared to the big rear that this sub has. That sounds kind of weird. Your 6 key is actually going to be your firing. Now, this is a futuristic sub. Let me go down to the bottom here, that way I can get a view of these. This isn't necessarily, I don't know how to explain this. Actually, don't land on the tracks. Okay, let's shift over here to the left. That way we're not setting on the tracks. This is probably, we're right around the area where I would like to actually, here, let's do this like this. Yeah, we're by the area that I would like to make a little bay for this sub in particular. So let me zoom out. Actually, this is about as far out as we're going to get. We have guns on the side of this. Now, I don't have any system for the torpedo to make it look like it's firing at the moment. I'm still trying to figure that situation out, but we do have these guns here. And this isn't very traditional for a sub, but keep in mind, this is like a research facility or experimental facility. But yeah, you can activate these, and these are actually really cool. So we'll hit that, and they'll alternate. The logic is actually set up right here under the ship. So yeah, you see those things going. So you can chase down other enemy subs and fire at them. Of course, I would like to have a torpedo. That's what the little side scoops are for. And I angled them down a bit. That way they wouldn't hit the gun. Normally your torpedoes are at the front of a ship, but I don't know. I just wasn't feeling that. I really wanted them to be kind of beside the torpedo rooms themselves. So you've got that. Like I said, the 7 key, that's your front ramp, so you can control that. Anyways, that is pretty much it for this sub. I'm really proud of this. Like, it's one of those things when you spend this long on a sub and it comes out pretty awesome. It's one of those things you just get really proud. I was tired though. This took a little bit longer. That's why we don't really have much else done to the base. But next episode, we're really going to start doing some more base stuff. I should also point out the back rudders do turn when we hit the A and D. And you've got the back propellers are going with the W2, so. Alright, last thing we're going to cover with this sub real quick. You guys have been asking how these things work, and I think I've done a pretty decent job at explaining it, but I just want to show you guys truly how many pieces are under here. So you've got these gray thrusters, and I have these kind of like color-coded. The gray thrusters are your upwards. Those are activated with the 1 key. These blue ones, or these light blue ones, are actually counter thrusters. They work with the roll thrusters. I was having a problem when I would roll that the nose would poke or it'd point down, so these will activate with the roll. Your pitch up is these blue sets of thrusters here, and these yellow ones, actually the yellow ones are the roll ones. The blue ones are hooked in, I think, to the forward thrusters to help pitch it up too, yeah. So you've got those. The central gate here, this is where all the bottom thrusters are hooked up. This is the logic that Scrubmaster set up for the guns. Back here, these gray ones are also upward thrusters. The yellow ones are the pitch down thrusters, more gray for upwards, and then you've got the back thrusters to travel forward. Now the back thrusters are really mainly turned on really high at the low points. I did have the high thrusters, or I had them turned up really high, and that was kind of pointing the nose down, so I think those are pretty much set down to medium. So yeah, that's just a little insight as to how this thing works. If you have any modifications you want to make to this, like I said, you could put sensors on the bottom of this thing and make it a consistent hover, but to me, I like to dive up and down a lot, so I don't really want to do that with this ship in particular, or this sub. But anyways, let's move on to the U-boat real quick, and then we'll wrap this episode up. Okay, so we're out here, we're a ways away from the base, and this is where I think we're going to start the military section of the base. We'll probably have like a missile silo, I know that's been requested. We'll have a little station for the train to stop off and drop supplies off. Probably have a sub dock for the military sub, and we'll probably need a U-boat dock, and we might actually go to the surface for that. But yeah, Mr. Croca, the guy who created the underwater train, he actually sent me a U-boat, and this thing looks fantastic. Now, I think this U-boat is morely based off a World War II U-boat, a German one, but nonetheless, this would work in the base. So as you can see here, it's WASD controlled. 1 is the thruster engines, 2 is alarm, 3 is thruster up, 4 is the top hatch. Of course, do not copy this or copyright claim. Don't copy his stuff, people. Uses the BB stabilizers in it too, so hopefully it's really stable. His stuff always seems to work really great, so we've got that. If you want this U-boat, you can always go check out his workshop. It will be in the description, and oh boy, that looks actually really good. Yeah, that's actually really good as far as the shape. I love how he shaped this using all the derf parts here. Let's see, so what is the front? I want to assume the front is actually here. And this reminds me a bit of a shark. This kind of looks like the shark from the last episode. So let's drop this real quick. Now he says it's actually using some sort of stabilizer. Let me see if I see that. Could possibly be that right there. Or maybe something in the back here. So yeah, this is a German U-boat. How do we get into this thing? I think it's through the top. Let's see. Oh boy. Oh, this is sweet. Okay, so yeah, we do have a hatch up here. So let's climb up here. Does this fire? Oh, it does. Oh, that's cool. Is there a... Oh, there is a standing seat here. Oh, that is so awesome. So yeah, if you're on the surface, which I think these, for the most part, stay on the surface, or I could be wrong. I'm not really too familiar with U-boats. That could be a thing. It might not be. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, So you've got the gun here. That's a little hatch. I hope my butt can fit through that. Okay, let's try this. Suck it in. Suck it in. Get in. We might actually need to use the seat down here. That's a tight hatch. Okay, so we got that. Let's go ahead and close that up. Oh, this is cool art. This isn't for the claustrophobic though. Wow. Yeah, these subs and stuff are typically, or U-boats are typically really tight, and yeah, it definitely looks like it here. So, looks like this might be the periscope up here. This could be the torpedo bays. Maybe I was looking at this wrong. Maybe the front is over here, because this looks like the controls, or is this the seat to control it from? Yeah, and this is aiming this way, okay. Looks like we got a little sitting, or a little comms area for radios. Got two people can sleep. I'm pretty sure this might be like a 4-man crew, possibly more. And looks like the engine's back here. Actually, this is a new part. I think this might be a Lord Payne part. That looks cool. It's belts. And yeah, he might have a whole bunch more engine parts. We might need to start using those. So there's the engine room back there. This is kind of tight getting through, but he'll make it. So yeah, let's test this out real quick. I know he's been working really hard to get this thing stabilized. Let's see, we're gonna hit 1, that might be the stability there. 2, oh, that's a horn, okay. Okay, 4 is to hover. Now this is a button, so you have to kind of spam it consistently. And 5 is the hatch, okay, so this is WASD controlled. Oh, look at this. It's going actually pretty good. Its nose is pointing up a bit, but it seems really stable, so, you know, I don't think we have any worries there. Now, how does it turn? Oh, there it goes. Okay, the nose is pointing down. When you hit the W key, it does point the nose down a bit. This is cool. This is super stable, too. It looks like I'm leaning a bit, but if I were to counter this way, does that fix that situation? That's leaned out a bit. A lot of times when you have these stabilizers in here, they're not actually perfectly up and down, and even if the craft's leaning a bit, it's actually not a big deal. Let's fly over the base here. I like this a lot, actually. This is really stable, and it's really hard to get small crafts like this stable. There's something about it. I mean, when you have more surface, say like the big sub, it's just easier to get it up in the air and get it all stabilized. Something like this, with it being so small and having these thrusters in there, it's really hard to do this. So definitely props to Mr. Croca. Alright, we're going to fly this U-boat back over here. Actually, we're going to float this U-boat back over here. Remember, folks, we're underwater. Oh, I really wish Scrap Mechanic would get some water physics. But yeah, we'll probably have a launcher for this too. I'm actually really digging this, and it's not creating much lag at all. Actually, it's probably not creating any lag. Let's turn those stabilizers off. So yeah, 1 stabilizer, 2's the horn. Okay, so yeah, we'll probably use this thing. We'll make like a little area for it. Probably a little launcher. I might put this on the surface though. I can picture this working a little bit better up there, and then we can always dive down. Now, to do another surface piece, and which, does he have any seat blocks here? Uh-oh. We might be locked in permanently. Actually, can I hit the... Oh, this is bad. Uh-oh. Alright, well, let me figure out how to get out of this thing real quick. He's probably got a way, and then we'll wrap it... And we'll wrap this up on the seafloor. Alright, figured out how to get out. It's actually the bed. So yeah, you can climb into the top bunk and hop out of this thing. So yeah, if you want to check that out, that will be on his workshop. But yeah, comment below with ideas for this section over here. I will probably need to do another surface elevator. Or, you know what, I might not. Maybe this is supposed to be a little bit more stealthy section of the base, and you don't want a big area up on top of the water to say like, oh, here's the military side of it. So we'll do some stuff with this side. Comment below with suggestions. I do want to thank you guys for all the love and support on the Underwater Base series. You guys have been absolutely amazing with this series. So we will have more episodes of this coming out very soon. We'll also have some brick rigs coming out, and I have a new game that we're going to take a peek at very soon. But anyways, folks, if you'd like to like and subscribe, everything helps my channel. If you want to send anything for the Underwater Base, I'll flash my email up on screen. We had our viewer creations episode yesterday with the Underwater Base. Strongly suggest checking that out because that AI shark was on point. But anyways, folks, hope you have a good day, and we will see you guys next time on Scrap Mechanic Underwater Base. Thank you.